Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Vorpal board session. Tonight we have a very special guest with a currently live Kickstarter running. I have Pete from Void Knight Games, and we're going to be playing his game, Forgotten Depths. Pete, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, James. Yeah, it's good.
And so Forgotten Depths is a co-op dungeon crawler, I guess you'd call it. It's got tile laying elements. It's got some interesting battle mechanics that you're going to see. It has about, I think, a week left on Kickstarter, and I think you're about to cross over $10,000 funded. It looks like it might be kind of dicey to get to the goal for this round on Kickstarter. So, generally, how are you feeling about the campaign?
Oh, I'm just curious more than anything what it gets to at this point. Pretty resolved to doing a relaunch in the spring. Barring we're at almost 50% funded, which isn't great for the last few days, but we'll see how it goes. At the very least, we'll pick up some more followers, people interested in the game, and then just kind of learn. There's a couple things like this that are dropping between now and the end, so just kind of monitor how that affects things, learn by that. Even in the last 2 days, I've had people come out of the woodwork that want to share it on a channel or do other things, so that's always good.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I mean, I think you're in the couple hundred of backers now. So I mean, that's
right,
that's an
right.
audience that you didn't have when you started, I assumed, right? So
Yeah, that's right.
that's
That's right.
exactly how I always think about it as well. And you and I were talking before we got on here, and like we ran a Kickstarter campaign that wasn't successful, but we thought about it exactly the same way. It was,
Hmm.
hey, now we have 300 people who know about us, and that would have been really hard to find, just sort of organically.
That's right.
So it was a good exercise for us. We learned a lot, and met just a lot of cool people. Has there been stuff during the campaign that you've kind of said, oh, we've gotten a lot of feedback. That's something I'm going to take back to the drawing board and maybe make some modifications on?
Yeah, I would say the main one that people have asked a lot about is other heroes. And so one of the stretch goals, the first stretch goal that unlocks or would unlock is to have a flip side to these character mats. So anytime the way the components work in the game, each of these heroes has associated cards that go with them and items and abilities, and so there's exponential growth out of each additional hero. And so that's package weight, that's box size, that's cost and game cost. So one thing that I will do as just a base part of the base game without it being a stretch goal is I'll have a backside to these that'll have an alternate artwork for the hero, and they'll have two different starting abilities, maybe even different starting health. And I'll try to push that as extreme as I can in terms of the difference, so the distinction. We'll use the same action card deck, and in other words, the other components that they already come with will still be used by them, but at least their starting point will be differentiated. So you could kind of play them with a different flavor to start with.
Oh, that's cool. I
Um,
mean,
yeah,
that saves. I mean, that's one of those things about making a board game that I think some people don't kind of take into consideration when they say, "Oh man, we should have like a lot more,
right.
levels or more challenges or whatever." And it's like, well, there's a lot of math that goes into the costs of how to make these things and then ship them.
Yep.
And once you get out of standard sizes for boxes and shipping, then everything becomes a lot more expensive. So
Yeah,
it feels like a little bit of a puzzle in its own to figure
it
out what to
is.
put in
Yeah,
the game.
that's right. And what you have to charge people at the end of things is a part of that too. So you'd like to kind of keep things manageable across the board if you can. So that's one thing. What else? There's been a lot of appreciation of the art and a lot of just support in general for the game, which I think is great. Um, there's been a lot of confusion around even with yourself, some of the combat mechanics and deck composition stuff. So rulebook is definitely work in progress. I'm very clear about how all that ins and outs work on my side, but in terms of the reviewers, there's probably a touch up on what goes out to them for this next round, um, and a tuning of that a little bit. There are
Cool.
some pretty good combat examples in the rulebook, but there's a little more attention to that. So
Yeah, and
anyway,
I think the combat is really kind of neat. And folks will see it tonight. Uh, it seemed very simple when I started, and then I
right,
started to actually have to get through some of these encounters, and some more interesting decisions kind of presented themselves, which I think is probably the goal of any designer, right? Like to make it
yeah,
seem like it's super easy. You can explain it to somebody in 2 seconds,
right,
but once you're actually doing it, you start to have some interesting decision making opportunity in there.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
kudos, I guess, on that.
Yeah, it's definitely what I was aiming for. Kind of easy to get into, but having some depth under the hood. So like a shallow rule set with some depth of play that comes out of it. That's really the goal.
So how did you come to the decision to actually make a board game like this? What's your
Yeah,
the
yeah,
very stereotypical question is like, how did you get into games? But like I'm
yeah.
always interested, like,
Why this game?
what yeah,
Right?
and also what's your I guess professional background, or kind of what's your
Mhm.
area of expertise, or how did this become kind of a passionate thing for you to want to create one of these?
Yeah, yeah. All good questions. So I've gamed all my life. I remember getting introduced to D&D when I was like 6 by an older cousin. So it goes way back. Board games, of course, at an early age. I remember in fourth, fifth grade, like working on my own designs for Top Gun, jet aircraft, combat games. Anyway, so that all goes back, and then with the recent sort of boom and the interesting wealth of games that are available now. So somewhere in the early 2000s, when I came across Settlers of Catan and Puerto Rico, some of the early kind of harbingers of what we see now, it's just exploded since then. So kind of set the hooks again. And so it's by no means my only design of recent years, but the only one that I've pursued with this much relish, and so dungeon crawlers, fantasy and dungeon crawlers have always been a fascination of mine. I with this particular one, I think what people will see is that it's a bit more maybe streamlined in a way, or kind of distilled, like it's a little bit abstracted in a way, or sublimated. So I wanted there to be thoughtful combat. I really enjoy good tactical combat with decisions at every step. So this has that without being heavy, like we've kind of talked about. It's not bloated. That was the other thing. I wanted things to just kind of stay, like I say, shallow rule set and sort of not heavy, not a million things to remember. You just kind of jump in and play. And then the tile laying, which is kind of a whole nother aspect to the game, has this whole exploration side of things that honestly I just like in general for anything, going out and hiking and exploring, but in role-playing games, when you're exploring a new area of a dungeon, or just that sense of kind of not knowing what's around the next corner, right? And so it unfolds as you play. And so this tile laying aspect carries, gives you some of that. But we'll see that, I guess, probably with the legendary locations and all that you can uncover and build. So yeah, the immediate kind of impetus for this was playing a bunch of one deck dungeon with
Okay.
my
Yep.
daughter, if you're familiar at all. So that, and just some discussions with my then 9-year-old, and just seeing, and then the card play part of it, the combat mechanic kind of came to me, and I tested it, and it seemed like it had legs, and it's gone a long way since its origins, but that's kind of how it began.
Cool.
So
In the
yeah,
middle there, I heard you call it Settlers of Catan, which dates
yeah,
you, and it dates me too. It's
yeah.
funny. I was on a podcast once, and I got made fun of for calling it that, because now it's just Catan,
That's just
which,
Japan. Yeah.
yeah, which, like, whatever. Settlers of Catan for life, man. As far as I'm
Right,
concerned. Um,
right.
no, that's cool. We've been
Yeah,
on this stream. We've been kind of on a kick of the Subterra games,
yeah.
Subterra 1 and 2. So this is like our third tile laying game in a
Oh,
row,
cool.
and I really enjoyed that mechanic a lot myself.
Hmm.
And I was pleasantly surprised by this game, just because of how unique each of the tiles is. It's
Hmm.
it's not like there, and everyone will see this when we do the playthrough, but it's not like there's like 6 different tiles that you're seeing the same ones over and over again. Every single one is very unique, and it has a really, obviously, because it's hand drawn, so it has a very much a hand drawn map kind of feel, as if
Yeah,
you're playing like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And so
yeah.
I like that a lot. It looks kind of
Cool.
how I remember my 6-year-old self thinking about the graph paper maps that my older brothers
Yeah.
would draw. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I do. That's cool. I'm glad you pulled that out. I mean, at some point in doing all this, I realized, like what I'm trying to do is you can kind of get down into the tiles that you normally play like in a Carcassonne or some other game where they're just sort of like wallpaper or a background imagery. You're kind of in it more here,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun.
Yeah, I've always liked the feeling of if I pick up a piece in a game and I look very closely, there's like interesting things to look at. Like I don't know if you've played King Domino before, but
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
there's these like swamp pieces, and when you look at them, there's like oh, there's like a little wizard on here, and then there's like a dragon flying over and stuff, and
That's right.
and it's sort of like, there's a lot more happening in this than just it's the green tiles and the yellow tiles or whatever. So that's really cool. I think the artwork is awesome. You're working with actually, I believe, like a comic artist, right?
She's done comic work for Image. Yeah, she's an illustrator beyond that.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that I think a lot of people do know her from her work for Image. It's been recent that she's done that. The last 3-4 years.
Cool.
So yeah, she's definitely got a following. And again, my daughter is to blame partly. Like I used to collect comics when I was a young guy. Haven't touched them or hadn't in a long time. But she's really into graphic novels.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that got us going into the comic stores. And around that time, I was thinking about artwork, and I'm looking at these books, thinking, man, fantastic artwork in these things. And I start taking photos of artists, their names. I'm like, maybe I'll write to one of them or something. And she was actually the first one I reached out to because I most liked her stuff after looking at these for a while. And funny story, I didn't hear back from her for like a month and a half. And I thought, well, time to write to the next one. And then out of the blue, she writes to me. She'd been on vacation. And she's like, this is right up my alley. I would love to be involved. So
that's killer.
I just got lucky. Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, that's great. And like I have a pre-production copy. Obviously, this isn't the final version. So there's a lot of cards that are sketched and aren't fully fleshed out, and there's some that don't have art on them. But I recommend anybody who's watching to go and look on the Kickstarter page because there's a lot of really cool stuff on there that we might not see when we're playing the game tonight, mainly because you might just not come across everything in a play session. The stuff that I was actually really, I think, is very clever is in the legendary locations where you have kind of almost like a piecewise painting getting put together as you're playing through those cards, where you're kind of creating a big mural image. And there might be monsters in there or treasure in there or whatever. So definitely check out the campaign if you have not yet for a lot of those pieces of art. And then for folks who are watching who might want to follow you before we get into the session, because we're going to play probably at least an hour worth of gameplay here. What's the best way for them to keep track of you and sort of relaunch date and kind of news updates and stuff? Do you have a mailing list or something that you would want to then point them to?
I do have Yeah, there is a mailing list. So if they go to forgottendepths.com, there's a web page for the game. And if they go into, there's a contact tab in there, and that'll allow them to fill out a form and just fill out their email and sign up for the mailing list. That's definitely the best way to know about relaunch.
Cool.
And just any other, I'll post updates and let the mailing list know. There's also Instagram. Pete Void Knight on there is what I post, under for all this. There's a Facebook page if you look up Forgotten Depths. Of course, right now there's the Kickstarter on Board Game Geek. There's also an entry, so you can there's a lot of imagery there. That's if you miss the Kickstarter page and you want to see some of those rendered shots of game components and stuff, a lot of that's there on the Board Game Geek entry, as well as videos from other reviewers and things. So that's a good way to look up stuff too.
Cool. Yeah, and then obviously if people go back the campaign today as well, you'll be updating that campaign page forever with the relaunch information, I'm sure, so they'll get the emails there. So yeah, I mean, just the normal zones they can keep track of Pete. Dave, good to see you, Agent Dave. One of our key viewers who showed up. Dave, we're playing Forgotten Depths tonight, so we are continuing our series of tile layers, but this one has a little bit more depth than the last two Subterra titles. Okay, cool. So I think we're going to jump right into it. I'll give a brief overview here. Our goal as our characters, Pete's going to play Ava, this ranger over here. I'm going to zoom in on her art real quick. And then I'm going to play Bren, this fighter. And that's two of the three characters that are right out of the box. Pete talked earlier about for the next campaign launch, trying to add some more characters or alts of the existing characters will be part of that campaign. And every character starts with some health, has some skills, and you're going to see how those play out when we're in combat. And they have a different individual deck. So we're going to have decks of 12 cards each that you see out here. This black one is mine, and the white one is Pete's. We're going to move our way through a dungeon. And part of the game is laying these tiles to define the dungeon. And then as we're exploring the dungeon, we're going to come across monsters. We're going to come across events. We're going to come across treasure with a goal of finding the stairs down to the next level of the ecology. So there are 3 ecologies that come out of the box. We're going to probably focus on just the first one today. I'll probably throw out the art on the second one just to sort of show you what the art difference is between the two. But we're going to start in the ruins. And we have a whole set of tiles that define the ruins that we're going to use for our explorations. Dave, it looks like your comments are getting turned into stars. I don't know why. Are you doing links maybe, and the bot is getting angry about it? And so all the 3 ecologies have their own decks. They're over here on the left-hand side. And these are the different monsters and events and treasure and legendary locations that we can find inside this ecology. This is a cool aspect of the game. There's this concept of legendary locations. And the way the legendary locations work is you're trying to build, by tile laying, certain combinations of tiles that have these node icons on them. So in this case, if Pete and I are able to do our exploration and our tile laying such that we get 2 tiles next to each other that make this pattern, then we can choose to discover this legendary location. And that means we'll flip through those cards, and good stuff could happen, bad stuff could happen, interesting stuff will happen, essentially. And the neat thing is that the legendary locations, some of them are easy to do. So maybe the 2 pieces or the 3 pieces, but then they actually get a lot more complicated, like kind of this S shape from Tetris. So you have to kind of plan out your tile laying. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But the neat thing that I've seen in my playthroughs so far is it makes each time very different. So I've only discovered, I think, 3 of the legendary locations in the ruins, and that's in 3 playthroughs. So we kind of prioritized finding one in each of the playthroughs. And some of them are good and some of them are tough. We learned the hard way last night about some of them. I thought they were all going to be really nice to you, but one in particular was not. So that's cool. So we take turns once we're in combat dealing with the monsters, and we'll talk about combat when we get there. I'm not going to discuss it until we can kind of have an example on the table. But the way it starts is we start by just having us coming in the entry right here, and then we're going to start doing some exploring. One of the things to worry about as player characters is if you try to flip a tile and explore and you cannot place it, you lose. So there's a nice little weight here where you have to make sure that you're only exploring when you have open opportunities to place those tiles. They have to match exactly edge to edge in terms of the corridors. And so you have to be very careful that you don't overextend yourself exploring and then die that way. So you'll kind of see how that works as we go. Was that a decent overview, Pete?
Yeah, no, that is great.
All right, cool. Did I miss anything?
No. No, I think it's great. We should just jump in. Usually when I am playtesting this, I'll show people a little bit about what could be on tiles to kind of give them a sense of what they're maybe aiming for. But I think it's better in this setting just to do it through showing.
Oh yeah, because you and I both know, so we won't be necessarily surprised. So okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there is a little sort of player marker here in the game. One thing I do want to say, this is again a pre-production copy, so there are tokens, and this would actually be, I believe, a screen printed wooden token of a lantern. But for now, it's just kind of stuff that was in the pre-production stuff from Game Crafter. So standard cubes and cylinders and barrels and all that sort of stuff. Cool. All right. So the first thing, there's nothing else to do. So we're just going to explore, and we'll show how this works. I'm going to flip over this tile. Now, for folks who've never seen Vorpal board, anywhere I put my mouse, I get a zoomed in view on the video so that remote players can actually tell what the heck we're doing. And so you can see that this tile, it has corridors coming from all 4 sides, but there's a wall in the middle here. And so that actually dictates how you can travel. So if we attached it the way that it's currently sitting, we would be able to travel to the east, but we can't travel to the north or the south, or north or the west, excuse me, because there's that wall in the way. And then this little eyeball here is an event that we would need to deal with before we can travel through it. So it's a blocker until we handle it. And that's important. You'll see how that kind of comes into play.
And we could rotate that tile any way we want to.
Yep. So I don't know what the tile laying strategy for me personally has just been to like keep as many open non-blocked ends as possible. The only thing that's a bummer with this tile is it's kind of nice to actually do that event because it gets you good stuff. I think we'll probably get around to it eventually.
Okay.
So my opinion would be to lay it like this, and we'll get there eventually.
Yep.
All right.
That's
cool.
Fine.
Okay. So then we can continue to explore. You can always explore. The nice thing about this in terms of like flattening out the rule set is you don't have to worry about like moving your characters around. You can explore anywhere that you can get to in an uninterrupted path from where you currently are. But when you're going to actually interact with something, I generally would, like, let's say we were going to interact with this thing. I move my lantern over there just so I know what I'm interacting with. And then you'll kind of see how it comes into play when we hit the campfire. So, okay. So let's do another explore. So this is an interesting one. I'm going to zoom in on this. And what you can see is there's a couple lock icons on here. And those indicate that we'd have to use keys to get through those doors. We start with 3 keys. And we can buy more as the game goes on by spending experience. But perfect world, you would use all your experience for upgrades and whatnot. And also you can spend your experience to heal your characters as you're playing. So perfect world, you wouldn't spend them on keys, but sometimes you find a lot of keys and you want to use them. And then this is one of those nodes for the legendary locations. So we want to try to connect that for sure. Which means maybe we go this way with it.
That looks good. Yep. Leave that node out on a free edge, just like you've got. Set it up to connect to later.
Yeah, we'll connect and do some cool stuff later. And for now, there actually aren't any events, or there's nothing we can do unless we wanted to spend a key and go and deal with this one down here, which we're not going to spend a key this early. It's not worth it. So
it isn't. Yeah. One might just point out, James, that there's 10 unique monsters in each ecology and 10 unique features. So we'll maybe see if we do a lot, we'll see half of those maybe. If we do a normal amount, it's closer to 30-40% maybe. So there's a lot of game to game you might pick up knowledge about a particular feature that might mean opening that locked door becomes worth it later. Like I haven't seen a certain thing that I want to, and so I may come back and choose to spend that key to open that door because of a particular one I'm looking for.
Yeah, then the interesting thing that I found about this game is the first few times you play it, you don't know what's going on, right? So because you've never, if you're like me, you don't look through anything because I kind of like to be surprised, right? So the first few times you play it, it's like, okay, I don't know what the features are going to be. I don't know what the legendary locations are going to be. But then after you've played it a couple times, then you're like, man, I haven't seen that healing pool yet.
That's exactly the one. Exactly, you mentioned exactly the one you might bother to open that.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, maybe we'll spend a key and hope to get the healing pool before we go fight the boss type thing. So I do kind of like that because it becomes a exploration and kind of new stuff experience to a looking at how thin that deck is and saying, what's the probability that I get something that I like? And kind of a little bit of a memory game, remembering, okay, what are all the different things I might see on this particular ecology? So this tile that we just uncovered is an interesting one. It has a monster in it, and that monster is in this hallway right here. But there's a dotted line that indicates what the monster's territory is. So until we actually go over there and deal with him, we can actually walk through this pathway okay. This is an unbroken path. The only reason we'd want to go deal with that monster is that would lead to this secret passage. And this secret passage will connect to another secret passage in other spots of the ecology. So so we'll see if we end up wanting to deal with this eventually. We might not.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it would make sense to kind of have this kick over here.
Yep.
I actually think it's the only place we could put it, unless we wanted to mess up our node here on the right side.
You could put it at the one right above it, but where you've got it's really
oh
good.
yeah, that's right. We could go over here. That's true.
Mhm.
One thing to note is that we can't place anything to the north and the east here because our characters can't get there. You can only expand your tile laying to locations where you actually can physically get to. It's not just that you can attach it to any tile that you have exposed. So these particular zones are off limits to us until we loop around and connect to them if we're able.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we still keep exploring.
Yep.
All right. Well,
This
we
is
got
generally how it goes. You kind of lay a few down to kind of get the lay of the land, and
yeah, and then start making some decisions on what we want to do.
at some point we'll be boxed in unless we make a push to encounter something.
Yeah. So it's a bummer. I mean, this is kind of a bummer of a lay.
Actually, it's a really good one. What I would recommend, and I don't want to actually I'm torn between how much I say here. I'll just leave it at this. I would actually put this one above the one we just placed. So the dark edge against dark edge, and give ourselves access to that feature. One of the things you're trying to do as you work down through the ecology is pick up experience points, and you only get that by encountering stuff. I guess I'm going to go ahead and say what I didn't necessarily want to say. Monsters and features give the same amount of experience. By and large, monsters always take a toll in health, though. And features may have drawbacks, but they're always a safer bet than monsters. So if we give ourselves access to a feature like this, it's actually kind of a wise little thing to do. Whether we go in there right away, we can wait, but having access to it connected up like that's good.
Yeah, I'd say we do one more
tile.
explore since we have this opening, and then we can decide something to do.
Yeah. Anything we draw could go there is one way to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, so I had a question about this tile. These are all dead ends, right?
Mm-hmm, they are.
Okay, cool. That's how we've been playing it, so I wanted to be sure.
Yeah, that's a really interesting draw, because we could make the legendary location.
Yeah. We could do the 2.
We could do the 2. I hear in your voice that you want to hold off and try to build out to the 3.
I'd like to try either the 3 or the L.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the L yet. L/J.
Let's go for the L.
Okay.
Go for the L. So what we might want to do, though, even though it kind of burns it, the secret passage connects node end hallway. We might want to rotate that to connect up to it, just so that we have access to the tunnel network.
Yeah, because the tunnel network is more than just 2, right? So it could get us to somewhere cool.
It could.
And if we're going to prioritize making this L, and we already have this one here, we're burning it anyway. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. All right. So I think at this point we need to do some stuff.
Yeah, we do. So we either want to pop open that door, in the hopes that our next tile draw could go right past it. And save that node end. That'd probably be the most conservative thing.
I think we have to, right? Because we only have 2 placement locations.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
And so we'll spend one of our keys, and this will you pretty much you cover the door you've unlocked, just so you know. And then let's jump in and do this feature.
Yeah.
Let's
try that.
Let's go crazy here. Okay, so the way the features work is you just draw the next feature off the top of the deck, and you're going to see, I'll give you a little bit of like sort of the anatomy of a card here. There would be some artwork here at the top, and then there's a title down here, and then some flavor text, and then kind of what happens. And then this down here is how much experience the feature or monster or whatever gives you. Pretty much everything in the game is giving you experience. So it's really an impetus to just like do a lot of stuff. Because this is what the currency we're going to use for everything. There's not 2 different types of currency. We have one big pool of experience which we can use to spend on other stuff. We can heal our characters. We can buy keys, etc. So this one says a silver statue of an athlete. With some effort, you're able to pry loose the small gems decorating the base. Remove a defeated monster token of your choice from the map. That location contains a monster again. So, we don't. It's no purpose, but it does get us an experience.
Yeah, and good to get that now when there isn't a monster token out.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I don't really know why you would want to. I wouldn't want to fight a monster again.
Hmm.
Okay, so all right, we got to explore. We got nothing else to do.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, so we can connect
Hmm.
here.
Interesting.
And that at least lets us go through there to the north with a couple of features.
Yeah, we'd have to clear the features first and then have access to connect on the north there.
Yep. And that's the only way we can retain our chance at the node.
Hmm.
The only thing that's really a bummer is this guy here, which
Yeah.
makes anything we do looping up more difficult to place. But,
Hmm.
you know,
Right.
if we're going to try to sell out to get a cool node, I don't see
Hmm.
another way to deal with it. So,
Can you flash up the L stack real quick, James?
oh, yeah.
Maybe just leave it on top if
There
that's
they
what
are.
we're.
Yeah, if that's the one we're going to go for, right?
Uh-huh. And we could rotate or mirror that pattern if it helps us.
Yes, correct. Yep. So yeah, I mean, it might be that we have it go downwards or something. Who knows, right? Or we have it go all the way this way and then turn or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yep. So we could connect either an elbow, like a 90 elbow,
Yep.
or a sort of two-ended.
Yeah, going this way. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see what we
Either.
draw. But I'd say we got to go through these features just so we have a couple other options. So we're gonna do this feature next.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Anytime I see poisonous, it doesn't make me excited here. All right, poisonous pool. It looks like liquid gold. You just know you can trust it. Pick one hero to drink. Ugh. They get 2 card draws to generate greater than or equal to 12 in value. Fail, hero draws a light monster action card and takes damage equal to the value. Okay. So we can talk through how that's going to be. I'm the fighter. I think on average my cards are higher than yours.
They are generally higher. Yeah, exactly. Neither of us have anything in our discard pile. So if you're just going by the numbers, the fighter Bren's going to have the highest likelihood of succeeding at that.
Cool. So let's do it. So this is my action deck, and this is how we're gonna do combat as well. So I get a 4 and a 3. So bad draws for this particular challenge, but to get the 4 and the 3 into my discard is actually kind of nice. And so these go into my discard, and then I'm going to have to draw a light monster action. So this pile right here, it's light monster because it has a 1 on it. This is medium monsters, which is a 2. And then there are heavy monsters. I didn't get the heavy monster deck out because I don't think it's possible to get any heavy monsters in the first ecology.
That's correct.
You only deal with those in the later ecologies. So I'm just going to flip this 1 here, and I take 2 damage. So not a big deal. This is the health tracker. I actually, for folks who are familiar with Vorpal board, I actually scanned this bad boy in automated, and it actually stitches it out that way. So that's a recent feature, so I feel good about it. So I'll gloat about that for a second, Pete. So I'm going to do 2 down, and then we'll keep track of that. So this is all physical components that you would use if you were playing the game on your table. Okay.
Cool. James, do you mind just spinning the fighter action deck up the other way? Turn it.
Oh, yeah, it's upside down. You got it. There you
Thanks,
go.
man.
No problem. Okay, so we just finished, and you'll see that I'm covering these features as we go. There's going to be tokens to cover all these up, just to keep track of what's going on the board. And so I think we got to do this next feature.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do it.
And at this point, we've accumulated 2 XP.
2 XP. Yeah.
So we're starting to move up.
All right, so this is a falling block trap. A stone paver shifts beneath your feet. One hero needs to draw a card greater than 4, and one hero needs to draw a card less than or equal to 3. Mm-hmm. Heroes decide who draws for each. Fail, heroes take 2, 5, 7 damage between them. So this 2, 5, 7, this kind of nomenclature is used a lot. The slashes are just if you're playing with 2 characters, 1 character, 2 characters, or 3 characters. So we would take 5 damage. Mm-hmm. I think it makes sense that I will try to get the greater than 4. Yep. And you will try to get the less than or equal to 3.
You got it.
So let's see. Well, we've failed already with a
5.
with a 3, so that's a
Yeah.
bummer.
So I'm supposed to draw one regardless, just to follow along with.
And you got the 2, so we would have had a shot at it, but
Made it.
okay,
Yep.
so we got to eat 5 damage between the two of us.
Yeah. So whenever it doesn't say, whenever it says heroes plural, we as heroes. There's a lot of aspects, a lot of moments in this game where the players get to determine how things are distributed or what order things are resolved in order to best help ourselves. A lot of it's about kind of making your wisest decisions for optimization of your play.
Yep.
So, yep. So you've got a little more to start with. I don't know. Do you want to maybe take 3 and I'll take 2 or something?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Because I start higher up than you, and we should state if one character dies, you lose.
Correct.
So we do need to make sure that even lower health characters have a better ability to survive. So you would take 1, 2, and I'd take 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and healing is fairly rare in the game, and there's no resurrection things built in yet.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think has, I don't want to say poisoned my playthroughs, but like kind of made them less impactful is I'm not trying to get all the way to the end of the game so far in the playthroughs I've done.
Yeah.
I've been focusing just on this first ecology. So towards the end of my run, just spend all my experience to beef my health back up. Yeah, and that's not a decision that you would necessarily make if you're trying to level up your characters at the end of the ecology. So, Dave says that I should take the damage because my cards are too low, and I agree. I can't argue it. I can't argue with that logic. But the nice thing is that there's only 12 cards in your draw pile. So if you know that I've already pulled a 3, a 4, and a 3, I have a bunch of beefy cards sitting in there. So our first combat, hopefully, I'll be able to be a hero.
Yeah, we'll see it in combat. I was going to make mention of the power cards, but we've got power cards in our decks that are saved. You start the game fresh, so they're saved out to begin with. But these are just like any of our other action cards. So once we spend one, they'll go to discard and they'll cycle back. We'll draw into them. Once we do, we save them back out. So anyway.
Yeah, and and that's another reason why you got to kind of pay attention to what's going on in your discards, and what's going on in your decks in general. Because if you know that you have some power cards hiding in there, you want to kind of draw through if you can get to them. And the monsters are the same way; they're going to have powers when they fight us. We got to get a monster. We got to fight somebody here.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, we're going to explore again. I think now that we've unlocked. Let's see what we got.
Yep.
Ooh, yes.
The elbow.
We got ourselves the elbow. So I don't know the pieces well enough. Do you think it makes sense to go north or south?
South.
Because it just leaves a lot more options.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So right, exactly. So if we went south, it's a totally free edge that we're leaving ourselves down there. In other words, anything we draw could attach to it.
Yep.
If we sent it north, we'd be limited somewhat because we would have to make an attachment on the left there.
Yep, I agree. So the one thing that I will say is you don't have to match the nodes. The nodes are an optional match. The corridors have to match. So we did it over here where we didn't match node to node, and that's a legal play.
That's right.
Okay. All right, so that's a good draw.
And
then totally let's see. Ooh.
The other elbow.
The other elbow.
So that's good. Well, that's interesting. We could place it so the elbow stays available to us in the one place we can, we want to maintain the one we're trying to build, so let's ignore that. And we could put it up at the very top middle there and just spin it we'd have to go into a monster combat.
Well, we're looking for a monster. We've been looking for a fight. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Yeah, so now we have another option to maybe do another. I don't know. I think it's designed so you really can't get through all the legendary locations. There just aren't enough nodes to do them all in one play. But
yeah, 2 of them are mutually exclusive. Yeah, the most you could get is 3.
Okay. So we'll see. This leaves us 2 options at least, which is cool. And maybe we can sneak a 2 wide or a 3 wide out of there. So okay, so let's do fierce battle here with this guy. And let's see who we got. All right, this is one I have not seen yet, so this one's new to me. This is the Subhuman Warriors. I love it. All right, so they're light. There's a pair of them, and there's rules about pairs. This is how much health they're going to have: 7, 14, or 21. Crude armament, malicious eyes, and sharp teeth. So this is their power. Every monster has kind of a power thing going on. Some of them, I think some monsters have passive, some monsters have active. This one is light coordination. Draw a monster card and use it to replace the lowest value card. So we'll see if they pull that. That's a pretty bad one actually. And then this little logos here means how many cards we get to play based on how many of them are alive. So when there's 2 of them, we get to play 2 cards. When there's 1 of them, we get to play 2 cards. So sometimes when there's a pair, when there's 2 of them, you only get to play 1 card. And that makes it harder to kill them. But for this one, it's fine the whole way.
Yeah, and when we do kill one, we get the upper hand in terms of they only play 1 card.
Only play 1 card. Yep, that's right. Okay, cool. So let's put the subhumans out here.
Yep.
Just so everybody can see their disgusting.
Can I go ahead and drop in their health?
Oh, yeah. Yep. 14.
Yeah. Can I stack these, James? Does that work that way?
Yeah, you can just kind of put them on top of each other there so they can sort of see the edge. Yeah. Okay, so then the way that this works is we each draw up to 3 cards. So because Pete's not physically here, I'm going to draw him 3 for him to see up here. And then I'm going to draw my 3. All right. And then we choose which 2 cards we actually want to attack these guys with. And there's some... I'll show you once we have an actual pair matching happening that we'll talk about some of the strategy. But I'm going to choose a 7 and a 5.
I'll go with the 6 and 4, James.
Okay, the 6 and the 4. So the 2's off the board for now. And then the way that it works is we go left to right, and we draw monster cards to pair to these hero cards, or hero action cards. And these are light monsters, so all their draws are going to be coming out of the light monster pile.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a 6, which is actually perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
And then this is a power.
So that's going to happen to you.
Yep. And then do powers happen at the very end? Or does that happen right now?
No, you lay out the action cards first, then resolve the powers, yeah.
Okay.
What's your number there? 4? Against that 3?
5. It's a 5, yeah. So I have them dominated, and you have double block. Yeah. So the way that this works when you're in combat is you look at the numbers on the cards. If you're higher than the monster number in that pair, you hit the monster. If they're higher than you, they hit you. And if they're equal, it's a block. And there's a prioritization of those outcomes. So blocks happen first. If you get a block, you can block any of the other pairs. You can select it and say, I'm blocking. If you don't have a block, it falls to monster hits first, and then hero hits. So if the monster hits me on one pair and I hit the monster on the other, the outcome is the monster hits me, because that's a higher priority. If it's a block and the monster hits me, I can say, I'm going to block, and because that's a higher priority, I don't have to get hit by the monster. And if you're a block and a hit, you can choose to hit the monster instead of doing the block. The block is optional. You can either choose it or not choose it. It's up to you. Yep. And so in this case, in this example, I have a 7 over a 6 and a 5 over a 3. And then Pete has a 6 versus a 6 and a 4 versus a 4. So he's double block. I'm double hit. So, go ahead.
I was just going to jump in. So each of us have 2 combat pairs in front of us. So James has 2 and I have 2. We're going to evaluate them along the lines of what he just spelled out. And we're going to choose one to resolve, and the other one's going to go straight to discard. So every turn, each of us plays simultaneously, and we each resolve our own pairs at the same time, so to speak. So yeah, and then James gets to decide which one he wants to do.
Yeah, and so the power is going to hit too from these.
That's true. What does it say? He has to draw. They draw another card.
Yeah, so they draw another card and use it to replace their lowest value card.
So it might happen to you, or it might happen to me.
Yep.
Yep. There you go.
And he drew a 2.
Oh.
So that replaces his 3.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, so now I get to choose, and the way that these, like in the instance where I hit, the way that that damage is dealt is I will hit for what's on my card. So in this case, I would hit for 7, and then whoever's being hit gets to return damage. And the way they return damage is they return the difference between their card and my card. So they would hit me back for 1 because it's a 7 minus 6. So if I play a 7, I'm hoping that this happens. He plays 1 less than the 7 because then he only hits me for 1. If he were to have played a 2 here, he would have hit me back for 5. And maybe I wouldn't have chosen this as the pair I want to have happen because he would have hit me for a bunch. So he hit. I hit him for 7. So this 14 goes down to 7. And then go ahead.
I was going to say the other really nice thing about having them just play directly under you like that is you've gotten them to play one of their highest cards.
Yep.
You know, to their worst possible effect.
All right. So then all of my stuff goes in. All of my encounter goes into discard, and now Pete is just you got Block City.
Yeah, exactly. So that allows us to talk about the block ability, right? So every hero has starts the game with a block activated ability and a power card activated ability. So we start the game with 2 power cards, our 2 power cards that we have in our decks stored out at the tops of our hero mats. So we could always, once the action cards are played for the round, we could always activate our power by spending one of those to a discard. We didn't need to in this case, so we just save them. But since I have a block happening, the block activated abilities are always beneficial. I'm going to use one of these blocks, doesn't matter which one, and say that I do this. So mine is called Whisper Bite, and what it allows me to do is basically just get an extra little jab in there, a small amount of damage. So I can either deal 1 damage, I have a decision, I can deal 1 damage, or take 1 damage myself and deal 2. In this case, I'm just going to deal 1. So,
cool.
And we can apply it to either monster. I think what I'm going to do is take the one that was at 7, James, and put him to 6, and that kind of puts them within striking distance of maybe taking them all the way out next round.
Yeah, let's do that because that we'll talk about what happens when you kill a monster because that's a nice little boon that you get as well. Now, does that the not taking return damage before I step on my own tongue here? Does that happen when if you kill one of a pair as well, or is it just when you kill the monster entirely?
No, it happens. Yeah, so some of the monsters, like a horde type, you might be up against 6 of them, and every one of them in that group that you kill gets you that round benefit.
Cool. Okay, great. All right. So and then we just do another round, right? So we draw back up to 3 cards. So Pete's gonna go and get his, I think, best card there, the 7.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a stream unless I drop some cards on the ground. So, all right. So I'm gonna go 8 and 5.
Wow, good. So if I went 7 and 6, one of us would be guaranteed to take that guy out because I don't think they have cards that go up as high as 8, for example.
Cool.
So interestingly, if we both hit 8 and 7, we could focus on the one that's got 14 health
and maybe take them entirely out. Yeah.
So I'll go with the 7-6. Yeah.
7-6. All right. So then I'm gonna 8-4 and a block. And
okay. We got the 8 happening.
Perfect. 7-6 and a 6-2. Okay. So the 8-4 for me, I could do 8 damage. I would take 4 back. And then Pete could do 7 damage and take 6 back.
One back?
Or take 1 back, excuse me. And the nice thing is that anytime what we were talking about just a second ago is anytime we kill a monster, we get the benefit of if somebody kills them entirely by themselves without help from anyone else, no other hero in that round takes return damage. So we're going to be able to kill the 8 and the 7. We'd be able to get this guy, right?
Either way. Yeah, we could add together. I would actually recommend that. So if we combine forces, like if we combine both of our damages, we can kill a monster, but it took both of us to do it. So we have a decision make. Here's another instance of the players making a decision about how to optimize their play. So we're going to decide which one of us gets to avoid the return damage. It's going to be you because you'd be taking 4. I'm only taking 1. Doesn't get any better than that. So let's go ahead and add our damage. So we'll just take that guy all the way down, the one that's at 14.
Yep. So he would be destroyed.
Yep. Now he's destroyed, and again we avoid any return damage this round. So neither one of us. We can't. Any carryover damage won't apply to this next guy. If it was a horde type monster where there's a bunch of small, weaker ones kind of swarming us, that's the one monster type that does have that, where you can apply carryover damage. It's kind of thematically driven, but
yeah, you can slash a bunch of them at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Now explain that to me again, because I actually have played that incorrectly, I think. So he went all the way down from 14 to nothing, right?
Yeah,
and it took both of us to do it.
Correct. Yeah. So we combined forces. So I did 7 and you did 8. We can both add our damage to the same. We can choose which monster to apply it to.
Yep.
We can't divvy up. I can't say 3 on him and 4 on him, but I could choose which of the monsters I'm putting all 7 on. Likewise, you for all 8. So together we had 15. So he was at 14. We kind of overkilled him slightly. We got him all the way off.
But that way, only one of us gets the boon, right? Only one of us avoids return damage.
Yeah, and mine's only 1.
So you would take the 1 damage, right? So what I wonder is if it would be more efficient to kill this guy outright.
And both.
That defends both of us, and then I put 8 on this guy, and he's down to 6.
Oh yeah. That's fine.
Right? So then nobody takes any damage.
Let's do that.
So you use your 7 to kill this one. I use my 8 to take him down to 6. And we both avoid damage because you were able to kill him by yourself.
That's also good.
Sweet.
That's all.
All right.
Yeah, the way the game is balanced, every point of health counts.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of come to find is always prioritize your decisions around maintaining health. Especially if you're making a trek all the way through 3 ecologies, you're going to need it.
Mm-hmm.
You do get to heal up at fireplaces or at campfires and stuff, which we haven't hit yet. But you'll see it's not enough. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna give you 3 cards, and I will make my usual. I'll make my usual statement when we're playing games for the first time with folks on Vorpal board. This game to play through a single ecology is like 40 minutes, I'd say. It plays very, very, very fast because both people are just banging out what they're doing at the same time. Obviously, watching us play it this way, it's going to be a little bit slower, and we're talking about everything the whole time. Once you know what you're doing, you can roll really quick, which I think is great. Just boiling down a dungeon crawler into under an hour is that's a big thing for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go double 6s.
Cool. Well, that ought to do it. So I'm going to go ahead in this case. Oh, you know what? They're only playing 1 card against our 2. Let's not forget that.
So
if we go back to
I will play a 6 and a 4.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, since you've got a 6 out there, I'm going to go ahead, and that'll be enough to kill it. I'm going to go ahead and go with my 3 and my 2.
And save that 7. Okay, and then let's see what he does.
Block.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So I'm just going to kill him with the 6, and that's it.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, absolutely. And like I said earlier, we can, as players, we can choose to resolve these in any order. So we'll just go ahead and let James kill him before anything else happens. On my side, just for example, just to show it, I had a monster hit, a big one on the left there. Taking 5 damage is never good. But I had a block on the right, so I could always choose the block over the monster hit. So anyway, we'll ignore all that because James is just going to deal with the one remaining.
Sweet. And so that means that none of us will take, since I was able to kill that monster by myself, none of us will take return damage, so I won't take any return damage, and that monster is blasted back into where the hell that it came from.
Yeah. The wizard character that's also in the game has a block ability that we would have chosen to resolve first because it lets you get a power card. You know, so there's different reasons to choose to resolve differently.
Yeah, and I think again, like this is a theme I think in this design, and probably going to be said 100 times tonight, but there isn't a complex thing you have to go back and look in the rule book of, okay, what order do I have to play this in? Do I have to play the higher ones first or the lower ones first? It's just we can choose it to optimize it. It's been designed so it's fluid, so you don't have to repeatedly go back to the rules to figure out weird minutia. It's just it's very easy to play through these hands for all the players, which is cool. Okay, so we got that monster killed. That gave us 1 experience. It gave us access now to a lot of new paths. So we have some good stuff going, and I think we're going to do some exploring. Let's see what we got.
Interesting.
All right. So if we're going for the L, this is where we're doing it, right? Because we already have 2 of the pieces connected.
Yeah, so let me point something out here, James. You might know this already, but I'll go ahead and just explain it for those viewing. So we already found 2 entrances to the secret passage network. We got one that's hiding behind a monster, so we don't actually have access to it. The other one we've chosen to connect to, and it's repaying us now, because what we've got is an entrance there that allows us to pop out at any subsequent passages we find. So this new tile that we've drawn, it also has a passage on it. We can actually attach that off map, so to speak. We can break the placement rules. We can put that on any edge where walls connect to walls, but we don't even have to trace a path to it because we can pop out of our passage network into that tile. So we can multiply our free edges this way.
Nice.
So
I actually did not know that, so that's a new one for me.
I might suggest we just put that off the edge of the dead ends on the far left there.
Yeah.
So we give ourselves a couple new free edges.
Now, where does this connect to on this tile?
Exactly what I was just going to say. Yeah. So, prototype, work in progress. I actually drew these myself, and Marion is going to draw these her way, which is going to be 100 times better. But
I still like these though. I'm impressed with this because this, however she does it, the art note that you can give her is like, keep it like somebody, keep it like a dungeon master drew it. You know what I mean? Because this, I think this is really nostalgic and good. I like it a lot.
Right. Yeah. It's supposed to start to look like a little 3D look into the cutaway view of the plant. Yep. So that one connects to the passage going left and up, if that makes sense.
Okay, this one, yeah.
What I should add is like a couple dash lines that make it real clear how it connects through the wall.
Yeah, you can see kind of the little arch right here. So I think if I had to guess, I would have said to that passage there. But yeah, okay, cool. So that would now give us we could go west and north from there.
Yeah.
Dave says it looks like a mini golf course. Dave, that is I think that's a bad note. I want
to go to that golf course.
I disagree. There's no circular slide based tiles, I don't think. Maybe down in the caverns. Okay, cool. So we have a couple other places. That's actually very good to know. I did not know you could do that with the secret passages. So you learn something new every day.
Yeah, and just to digress for one more second.
Sure.
The secret passages are unique to the ruins ecology, and the caverns introduce their own, unique piece in the tiles, as well as the last level has their own thing too. So there's a little bit of, uniqueness that way too.
Okay, that's cool. And yeah, I haven't delved into that second level yet, so I'm gonna have to do that. I have a game saved. That's one of the things that I also will say is that we won't see it today, but there are sheets that are going to come with the game that you can use to save out your experience and your information on, so that you can come back and continue your campaign through the 3 different ecologies. So it's kind of a nice pausing spot. Okay, so I think we're just going to keep it on here, and look at that. So that gives us almost what we need going south there.
Yeah, that's where I would put it just to be safe. Or,
I want to get that L. I want to get that. I haven't seen
Yeah,
that one yet. So
things are looking good. You can move my cards over there. Now, yep, we've got to unlock that door, James, because if
yeah.
we haven't and we draw the card we need, we can't actually place it behind the door. We have to unlock the door before we draw the next card.
All right, let's do it. Let's use those keys. That's why we got them, baby. All right. Oh, okay. So that one is not what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to go up there somewhere.
Yeah, so I would probably just add it on to those new open edges.
These guys over here.
Just kind of keep bending it around some way.
Yeah, this way we might be able to get here if we get a T intersection one. So, okay.
Cool.
And look at that. We got our end.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. So now my question, on some of these, it looks to me like this is a dead end that's overlooking this area.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a door there, and I think it's just missing its keyhole icon.
It actually does look like a door. So let's I'll hold that up. There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a little tiny door right there. I was thinking that you would walk and this was you were kind of overlooking this zone. Yeah, kind of up above it. But yeah, I see what you mean. So this is a door. Okay. So well, we're not going to go down there anyway, but we are going to get our sweet location. So do you want to do the legendary location?
Knowing what I do about it, I'd rather find us a chest first.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, cool. It's because I got almost eviscerated in I think the S one, the last time we played. So I was guessing that the big one was gonna have some baddies in there. All right, so let's do some more exploring. All right.
Hey, on command.
Yeah, so we got ourselves a chest and a monster, which is fine. And it needs to be somewhere we can get, so we can either, do it over here or we could do it up here. It really doesn't matter, honestly, right?
Yeah, so, we could even use our secret passages.
Oh, and put it wherever we want it, right?
Yeah, we could stick it behind those locked doors over there on the right, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why not, right? Okay, so why don't we do that? All right, cool. Okay, so I think we want to go fight that guy.
Yep.
So if we want that chest, we gotta fight that monster first. So let's go deal with him.
Yeah, the only way you get items in the game, you can't. There's no shops. You can't buy items. You've got to fight your way to them and kind of win them.
Okay, so this monster is the Frilled Serpent.
Yeah, the guy from the cover.
Yeah. So Frilled Serpent has 20 health against us. And the one thing that really sucks about the Frilled Serpent is it heals. So when it gets a power card, it will heal 4 damage on itself. So not fun to deal with sometimes. Okay.
Cool.
So I'm gonna draw Pete up to 3, and remember he kept his 7, so that was nice for him. Ooh. So I have an 8-7-6 hand.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to, I guess, 8 and 6 and hold on to that 7.
Yeah, do that, and then I'll just go ahead 7-5, and we'll see if we can't hit this thing for 15 right out of the gates.
Yeah, I'm going to move him up here. All right, so Pete's at 7-5. Just make sure they're in a spot everybody can see. All right.
Nice. Good.
You keep getting lucky on that 7-6, man.
Yeah, that is good.
Okay, perfect. So we got what we wanted. We're gonna eat a little bit of damage for it, but not bad. I mean, I'll hit him for 8 and take 3.
So I'll move him down to 5. Which is a big blow on him. Nice to do him in 2 rounds if we can.
Yeah, and hopefully we can sneak through without him getting a power card.
No, I didn't do the return damage. Sorry, how much did you take?
I took 3. It was an 8 and a 5.
Got it.
Thank you. Okay.
Yep.
So now I have to shuffle my discard pile. And the interesting thing about this is when I shuffle the discard pile, correct me if I'm wrong here, Pete, but I have to play the one card in my hand first.
You got
and
it.
then I pull my card. Then I deal back, or I draw back up to 3 cards.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
So that way you kind of are you can't kind of like hide a 2 and then
Right.
draw back up and not have to deal with it. So
Right.
Okay, so let's see. Pete, you got your 4, and a 5, and a 3.
Okay.
And I'm gonna play my 7 and then draw up to 3.
Yep. Well, you would actually draw 2 more. The 7 would be part of your 3.
Oh, it does count as part of the 3. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
And then you would pick your last play from those 2.
So I'm gonna do a 7 and an 8, and we're gonna try to kill this guy.
Yeah. So I'm tempted to just do the 3, 4 and kind of get those out of the way.
Yeah, and just sort of hide.
A little bit.
Yeah, if we can get the definite kill on the 7, 8.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Either one of those is going to work.
I wonder should I hold one of those, right? Like the 8 is a dominant, right?
It is. Yeah, nothing can match it in the light monster deck.
Yeah.
What's your other card?
It's a 3, so I'll just burn that.
Hold on.
Oh, that's good. We got a sun sighting.
Daughter.
A daughter sighting. Oh, sorry. Hey, how are you doing?
What's up? Oh, no thanks. Okay. Yeah, I'll come out later for it.
Bye.
Better not munch while I'm on.
Yeah, no, that's great. We have had a lot of children sightings on the stream over the months, which is cool.
She left the door open. I'm just gonna grab that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Dave, we have a new piece of functionality to show today. We made some changes to sort of an auto zoom. If you hold down the space bar, wherever you put your mouse, it will do a close-up of the card kind of at an 80% zoom without having to do sort of the click on it and then click the zoom, which still does the very close view. So it's just an alt mode zoom kind of, which is nice for really card-heavy games, so you can easily zoom in without having to do a lot of clicking. Okay. All right. So yeah, I went to the 8 and 3. So because I think that makes sense, and then you should just be able to do whatever you want, right?
Yeah. Yep. We'll go ahead. We'll do the 5 and 4 then. Let's just do the 5 and 4.
Hold on to that 3.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous about your 3 because we might draw a monster hit, but let's go with it. Let's go with it.
Oh yeah. I guess I didn't think about that, right?
Yeah. Because that's sort of bait for a monster hit to happen there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So we're gambling.
I could dominate him and just do the 8-7 and be done with it, right?
It'd be guaranteed. We'd manage to take him out. So if you were to do that, I would play my 3 instead. But either way is fine, James. We can see how this plays.
All right. Yeah. Let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens. And we got a monster hit.
Yeah. It might be interesting to try your power.
Yeah.
How actually yours wouldn't affect it in this case, but oh no.
Yeah, and he's gonna heal too. So all our plans are out the window.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's what we get for trying to be cute.
Okay. Oh,
so...
see how it goes.
Okay. All right, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that! You're gonna do the damage.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Man, we can almost get him too.
Kill him. Yeah.
Let's see. So you got 2. You got a monster hit and a player hit. So let's just talk people through real quick, James. Like in a case like yours, where you're gonna be facing damage, you always kind of go to your powers and see, well, is there something I can do with my power cards? You've got 2 of them available. Can I activate that thing and get out of this somehow? Can I make a bad situation into a decent one? Now, your power, you're zooming in on it there, the brush aside. So that would allow you to take your 2 cards and flip their positions. So your 8 would be on the left and your 3 would be on the right. The only problem there, you'd get a great hit on the left, but you would still have a monster hit on the right. So you'd still be you'd still be facing a monster hit. You would make the monster hit slightly different.
Yeah.
Instead of taking 5 damage, you'd be taking 4, but the way it is set up now, you're actually doing more return damage than if you did the other way around. So you'd be doing 2, and I could be doing 4. We would
Which will
still
kill him.
manage to kill it.
Yep.
Now I could avoid my return damage, but again, like we said, notice we say return damage. So you're taking what's called direct damage from a monster hit. So you would have to take that full 5, unfortunately.
So yeah, so I could make it so I would take 4 and do 1 return,
Yeah,
which
we'd
would still be
kill it.
enough to kill it. So I could save 1 health here for the
1
cost of
health,
a
yeah.
power card.
Correct, exactly. And
Which
you know what? You just reshuffled, didn't you? I was gonna say,
yeah,
if you're for the bottom of your deck, you'd be seeing it back soon, but I don't know. It's up to you.
I'll
It's
just
really
take I'll take the damage, and
okay.
I'll save the power card because that to me seems not like a great exchange rate.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to me, and then I do 2 damage back.
Right.
And then you kill him.
4, which is going to take him right off the end.
And you won't get any return damage.
Correct.
Sweet. And he doesn't get to do his power, which is awesome. And that power now is going to sit in that discard pile for a long time. Which is perfect.
Yeah. Cool. So, all right. We got access to a chest there. So you might mark that monster as defeated.
Yep.
And you can tell us how the chests work.
Yeah, and so the chests, we have specific character chests and specific character ability cards, which are off screen. But they look like this. They're tarot card sized. And so every character has their own specific items and specific abilities that you're going to unlock by either finding them or mainly leveling up at the end of ecologies and spending experience points. So in the terms of the chests, we have to choose which of us gets this, right?
Yep.
So we're going to have to choose one of our heroes who would then draw an item specific to that hero.
Yeah.
I do not have a lot of experience with items other than magician items. So if we want to have, I mean, are items generally damage increasing, or are they kind of all over the map in terms of their functionality?
They're kind of all over the map. So some items, it's a good segue to maybe explain just a little bit about the kinds of things they can do for you. So some items introduce a light deck building aspect to the game. So you notice we're playing numeric numbers in our action cards. Some items come with their own cards, upgrades. So they'll maybe have 2 5s that they introduce into your deck, and so you'll recompose your deck, and you'll rifle through it, and you'll say, I'm gonna pull 2 cards to replace those 2 new ones with, and in that way control what my deck composition becomes as a result. Other items introduce abilities. So we talked about our block ability, our block activated, and our power card activated ability. Some cards have passive abilities, or another block activated, or another power card activated ability. Some abilities are useful by more than one hero. Like some could be activated by either hero. So there's some interesting things that happen with that. So items can either upgrade your deck, introduce an ability. Sometimes they do both, and sometimes they do neither one. So there's a lot of variety. In this scenario, the conservative play would be to let you draw an item. The fighter has a couple things that can soak damage in a fighterly way, and at this level of our development, that's pretty beneficial. So
cool. Well, I'm not going to argue with getting an item, so
yeah,
I'm going to do it. So here we go. We get to explore this item, and we open a chest, and we got a bat-winged helm. Sometimes when you have something on camera, your brain goes crazy. All right, finally made. And it fits perfectly. -1 damage each round. That's nice.
There you go.
All right. So I'm just going to put this over here so we don't forget about it.
And that one has XP in the corner too. We can't spend that unless we decided to discard it. So down the road, if we're playing deeper, we might decide, hey, we really need that for its monetary value.
Cool.
give it up. But
All right, so
yeah.
for now, we'll get to eat some damage every round, which is nice. We'll get these out of the way. And then I will cover up. We have one key left, and then I will cover up this chest.
Mm-hmm. So James, if you're interested in that L and seeing that L, now might be a good chance. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at our health track, and I'm thinking, do we want to top you up just a little bit? Well, you did just get that helm, so you're going to have some more staying power.
Yep.
And sitting at 16 health, I think we're in a good shape. The reason I'm not wanting to spend that XP on health is that it's kind of an inefficient use of our XP coins, and what we're trying to do is save up for, what is it, six each by the end of the level.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the end of the level, after you defeat the Stair Guardian and open the path to go down, um, if a hero has 6 XP saved up, they can buy an ability with it. And it's a shared pool, so we're really looking for 12, so each of us has the chance to do that. And we're on our way, but if we start burning it for healing, we're not going to get there. So
Yeah, I mean, we only have 5, 7 if we were to throw away the helm. So, I
yep.
mean, obviously we're going to get some if we kill the Stair Guardian. We're going to get experience and stuff. But yeah, I think we roll the dice. I think we keep me as we are. It's nice to see death sometimes on the stream also. So okay, so let's look at the legendary location. So as with everything else, you always get to choose when you want to encounter anything. You can encounter them or not encounter them, and we could wait and do it later, but let's do it now while we're in kind of a decent position. And so the way that this works is, I think we've showed these cards before, and they're numbered. This one's number 1, and you just flip through them. And there's some of them have flavor text. Some of them might be monsters. Some of them might be items. You do them in order.
Yep, and you're kind of on rails while that's happening. We can't stop midstream and come back to it.
Yep, and one of the things that's cool is they're going to give you a lot of experience. So each one of these is going to be generating you some experience, and I'm going to read it. This one says, Armory. Rays of sunlight beam down through holes in the roof. Moisture and time have corroded much of the contents here, but you see a promising glimmer further back. Now that sounds pretty darn good. And when I was saying earlier that these things like fit together in kind of like a mural, the cards sort of, if you lay them down in order 1, 2, 3, 4, are they all going to be like that they'll create kind of one big image? Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, so we have a glimmer, people. What did I do? Did I put these out of order? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. All right, so here's card number 2. Ooh, that's pretty exciting. A fine plate mail. I like to see that. Fine plate mail. It's a fighter item. This suit gleams with a bluish luster. The shoulder and neck guards are intricately worked with waves and rivers of water. Block 1 damage each round. All right, so I'm clanking around all over the battlefield here, which is great.
Yeah, that stacks, so you'll be able to block 2. And that's the last card. I was worried about this location. I had it mixed up with the one you were talking about, the S. I was thinking this one.
Okay, cool. All right, so this was a good one.
Yeah, this was a good one. It's harder to build. That was done intentionally to make it more difficult to get this good stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because that S was bad. There's 2 beasts in there, man. I don't want to go back to that location again.
Yeah.
But I think we got something good at the end of it. I can't remember what it was.
You should have. I don't want to ruin it, but yeah.
Yeah. We got something. I can't remember what it was. But question from chat. The L is mirrored compared to the card. That's right. So we can mirror or rotate as long as we get the shape right. So,
correct.
So yeah, that works fine. Okay, cool. So that's great. Now the rules say to sort of put tokens on all these just to kind of indicate that you've already done it.
Or just one of them. Maybe. It doesn't really matter though. I think
we'll remember that we did it. So
the only thing, we wouldn't want to go back and be able to spend like just a 2-node one on the 2-node.
Yeah, and cheat. Yeah, cheat that way. But yeah, I think chat would hold us accountable if we tried to pull a stunt like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's good. We got our L, which is great. I am armored up and looking for a scrap here, but I don't think we actually can fight anybody. So let's keep exploring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we could get our 2.
Yeah, we could. That'd be awesome.
All
Or we
right.
could, yeah, hope for the S. No, we can't. We can't make the S because the other elbow's already spent. Those
Yeah.
are the 2 that are mutually exclusive in this one.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
And we've already done the other one too because there's only one card with 2 ends. So the one that's on the board there we can't make anymore. So the 2 is the only other one we can do right now.
Okay. Well, let's go look. See what's there.
Yeah.
I like exploring undiscovered country. Okay. So the card number 1. Uh-oh. We're in a crypt, people. A freestanding stone mausoleum occupies this chamber. The door is cracked, and it looks like you can just squeeze through. So, like good adventurers, I think we're going through that crack, right? Lord Scepter. It's a wizard's item, unfortunately. I have had this happen before. I was playing with the fighter and the rogue, and I got the wizard's item. So, it's a Lord Scepter, a dull metal shaft with an onyx orb head. It vibrates at your touch. So this is a cool card. It lets you draw any card from your discard and put it back into your deck. And so if you've played deck builders in the past, that's a common mechanic where you build things where you can kind of regenerate your deck quickly and essentially deal out a lot of damage from a single card if you can keep doing it. So we can just bank this into experience because we're not going to use it. So that was nice. That actually ended up getting us 4 experience just going there. So awesome. Okay. All right. So I think we're still going to explore here.
Yeah.
Let's get wild. So we got this one.
Cool.
Which to me seems like let's just have it go pretty much right there.
Yeah, I would actually spin it and give ourselves that feature.
And do we have
Kind of
enough other open? Yeah, we got open location over here, open location here, here, and here, and here. I mean, we have plenty of openings.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right, let's keep exploring before we go and do it. All right. So that one can fit. I mean, we could
slide it straight down right
put
there.
it right in there, right? And
Yep.
then that gives us even more open locations. So we've been doing pretty good with our tile laying. Ooh. So I have been too cowardly. I have been too cowardly to deal with this one so far.
Wisely so. But you know what? Based on what we've uncovered and kind of gotten you set up with,
I'm going to be able to eat a lot of damage.
If there's ever a time to like buck up and try that, we're sort of looking at it.
Okay, so all right. So how about this? How about we place it, and then we will. Yeah, I mean, we're in decent health position right now, right? So
don't put it right there, James, just because we're not supposed to be able to, because that monster right there.
Oh yeah, that's right. And this was a door. That's right. That
was a door too.
Yep.
So you could plug it right up above the other chest if you wanted. That's like one spot we could put it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Well, do you want to fight it now, or do we want to like open up some more of the dungeon here?
Yeah, let's let it stew a minute. Let's see what else we got. Let's keep exploring.
Because we're getting towards the bottom. So the way that the dungeon deck or the ecology deck is constructed is the stairs are 4th from the bottom, and so we're almost to where we're actually going to have the stairs location. And so we might be able to draw all the way there with all the openings that we currently have. Let's see. I mean, with that, we could do.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Like that, which won't close us off.
I like it.
And then we have another T intersection there, which we could do something like this now.
Yep.
And then I think this is going to be the stairs.
Okay. So let me think a second, because the
Yeah.
campfire.
We want to have it somewhere where we can put the campfire right next to it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, right up at the top there is maybe a good candidate.
Yeah,
Um,
right here.
yeah. So just because we found the stairs doesn't mean we have to stop drawing. There's other things in there, and we can continue to explore. We aren't forced. Just like anything, you're not forced to go encounter those stairs yet.
Yeah, and I think we should because what we want to find is that campfire, which would let
Mhm.
us we could attack these two
Yeah, take our chances there.
campfire and then try to do the stair guardian.
Exactly right. What's our XP total at right now,
Let's
James?
see. That doing those two legendary locations helped a ton. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. So if we were successful against those guys, we'd pick up 2 more XP. So that would put us at 13. So we could spend 1 XP on a little bit of health.
And we have a feature here that we haven't
Oh,
done
yeah,
yet. So
that could be good. Might be harmful.
yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it'd be XP too, right? So
Right, right. No matter what,
probably,
it'd be a little bit XP.
yeah, probably worth the shot.
All right, so let's
And
keep
yeah,
let's keep
yeah, go ahead.
exploring,
Go ahead.
right?
Yep,
And
yep.
so there we go. Perfect.
Cool. All right. So let me just, yeah, or if you want to explain, James, about how the monster tokens get affected by using a campfire.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a Dark Souls thing if you're a video game player. So if you use the campfire, the monster tokens come off the board. And so what that means is if let's say we move and we are at the campfire and we use it, which means we rest, we get health back, we reshuffle our decks, um, all the monster tokens come off the board, which means that if we had to now get from the campfire to the stairs, we'd have to fight any monsters that were between us, where we are, and the stairs. So
Yeah.
it's very important that you place the campfire as close as you can to the stairs, and in perfect world with no monsters in between you and the stairs.
Yep.
And luckily for us, that's how we ended up placing it. Okay. So, I mean, I kind of think we burn. We have 2 left. We just burn them and see what they are.
Sure.
We have plenty
Sure.
of locations, so I don't think we're at risk of.
Yeah, there might be another feature in there, for example.
Yeah. So like we could do this,
Hmm.
and then nah, it's just a monster,
Okay.
so it doesn't help
Let's put
us.
them off on the side.
And okay, so now we have some decisions to make. If we want to fight these doubles, let's go get them.
Yeah, I'm inclined. Let's stack the odds in our favor. If we've got that campfire, we know we can. That's going to allow us to. We won't heal full health back, but what that does is gives us half of our total. So you
Yep.
would gain 15 back, and I'd get 13. So we're in good shape that ways in terms of the stair guardian. I would recommend maybe we go hit that feature and then use it for a little bit of XP health bump, and then go do the 2.
Sounds
That's
good.
like the extra careful way to go. But
All right. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with the
that's
guy who made the game and has probably played it a lot more times than I have.
you know
All right. So here's a feature.
we've
Oh,
seen a
look,
couple
look,
bad.
look what it
Wait,
is.
is it the healing pool? Yes. Okay, that's exactly.
Yes. That's
We already saw the falling block trap. We already saw
yeah.
the poison pool. Those are the 2 worst. So
Okay.
yeah,
So this is the healing pool. Healing pool is good. Essentially, with 2 players, it gives us 6 healing between the 2 of us. It's a one-time use, and then once you use it, it's off the board. You don't have to use it right now. You can use it later. So I kind of think we use it right now, right? We bump
yeah,
ourselves up.
yep. What do you
Okay.
got? Let's take you all the way up to 22.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then we'll put this in our experience.
Yep.
And we'll cover this feature. And then let's do Holy Battle here. Let's go.
Let's do that.
All right. So we're going to move.
So have you fought 2 monsters yet?
I have not. I've been too much of a wimp to take on the 2 monsters.
Right. Well, you've probably been wise, maybe. This is like a particularly good setup for doing this. So this is cool. So
So
we
do I
actually
just draw 2?
draw 2,
Okay.
and like other times in the game, we get to decide which we have to assign each one to one of our heroes.
Okay.
But we look at them and evaluate and decide which one goes to who. So
Okay. So we got a
I
Dark
already.
Wolf,
Yeah,
and
you're
Dark
getting that.
Wolf is a pair,
You're
and
good.
they each have 18 health. And they have a similar thing where when we fought those subhumans, when there's two of them, they'll get 2 cards. When there's one of them, they'll only get 1 card.
Yeah.
And then their Knowing Gaze, hero plays 1 action card next round. So they can force us sometimes when they get the powers to only play 1 card, which is really irritating. Okay. And then the other guy is a Spectral Knight. And you can see kind of what the artwork will look like on this guy. Spectral Knight, 22 health. And he has a passive ability, which is on a successful monster hit, hero takes +2 damage. So he's just kind of a damage beast, which means it seems to me like he should be on me.
Yeah, I was thinking the wolves would go on you, but I agree with you that. So what'll happen is we'll fight these two simultaneously. You'll take on one, and I'll take on the other, but we'll do them in you know synchronous rounds. Like we'll play our rounds in in sync with each other.
Okay.
And when one of us finishes our opponent, we'll just automatically go over and start on the next round. We'll start fighting the same. So I'll take the wolves on and try and last long enough for you to wipe out the knight and come over and
Kill
help
him
me.
quick, hopefully. I mean, he's got 22 health.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we got the 2, and then did you take care of the health for me there? All right, great.
Yeah.
So you have only 1 card, Pete. You have a 3, and then you're going to need to shuffle.
Okay.
So your first round, you're going to have that 3.
Mm-hmm. Hey, James,
Yes.
you might just take the knight over to your side, just so it's like more clear. You're going to take on that guy for now.
All
yeah,
right,
there we go.
Perfect. Okay, so all right. Well, I'm going to draw up to 3, and then I give you 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was about to give you my cards, which wouldn't have made any sense. All right, 5 and a 6.
All right.
That's pretty good for you.
So I get to I have to play the 3 because it was the last one in my hand or deck.
Yep.
So that has to go out, and then I get to decide between the 6 and the 5. I'll go ahead and play the 5, and keep that 6 out. Yeah.
All right, so a 3 and a 5. I'm playing a 7 and a 6. So let's see. These guys are both light, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so they're both light. All right, that's a big hit, but he's got a 2, which is a bummer.
Big return hit. Yeah.
7 and 4 is better.
It's nice. Yeah, that's good.
And then 5 on your 3.
Mm-hmm.
And a 5 on a 2.
Okay.
All right, so on my side, I think it's fairly straightforward. I'm just going to do the 7 and a 4. And that means I do 7 damage. He would do 3 coming back, but I eat 2 of it with my armor.
Right,
so
right.
He only does 1 damage to me.
That's awesome.
So
got it.
That's a big hit. I'll take that. And then, are you thinking of a power here, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. So go ahead and take one of my power cards. I'll do it, I guess.
Yep, and then I will just physically throw it in your discard here.
Mm-hmm. And then, so what that allows me to do, I don't know if people could, all right?
Yeah, they'll be. Yeah, I zoom in for him. Yep.
Okay, so it's my sneak ability. So I can draw the next card from my draw pile, my top card, and we take a look at it. Maybe show us what we got there, James.
Ooh.
7. That's great. What are my other? Am I only getting 1 monster hit? I can't quite see.
Yeah, it's a. Sorry. Yep, I'm off screen there.
That's
it's a
okay.
5 and a 2
cool.
and a 3 a 3 and a 5.
Golden. So what the sneak allows me to do, I can draw the card, and I get to decide whether to replace the card with it that's in play or put it back on top. In this case, I want to get out of that. You don't want to go around taking 5 or more damage. You just don't last long. So let's put it on there. So I'll be doing 7, which is fantastic, and then taking 2 in return. So that's good. My token's there. Yep. Cool.
Sweet. Yeah, it's nice to see the powers work. You know, like when
Yeah.
it feels really good when you hit one of the situations where you need it, and it's like, man, that got me out of a jam.
Hmm.
All right, let's go get them. And then 6 and a 5 and a 3.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna go 7 and 6.
Oh, you know what? We run the risk of losing track of who's who on these. I
Oh
hope.
yeah, good point.
There is a different colored token
Well, here you
that we
go. We'll
would
just
use.
do that. We'll flip it over.
Okay,
Well,
cool,
oh wait,
cool.
that was which was he was at 22 and I hit him for 7, right?
Yeah, he's at
So
15
he's at
there.
15. So there, that's the Spectral Knight.
Cool,
All right,
cool.
sweet. Good thing you noticed that because I would have forgotten immediately.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Okay, cool. So
I'll play the 6 and 5.
okay.
Just maximize my.
Yeah, last night when I was playing, I was thinking to myself, have you ever played like blackjack in a casino before? And you have the people
Right.
who get like really antsy about like what order the cards come out.
Oh,
And
oh, uh-huh.
and I and you know, like if you hit and you bust in a bad position, they get all mad because it's like that should have been my king or whatever, you know.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking about that in terms of which position to put your cards in, you know,
Right, right.
like
Like,
people.
got it.
Oh, we got to put the 6 in front of the 5 because we're going to get a better card draw early. You know, it's just it's people
Yeah.
who don't understand probability, I guess. Yeah, comment from chat. I like that each value is slightly different artwork. I like that too. I like that they get kind of progressively bigger with the
Mhm.
numbers, or more dangerous looking depending on who you're fighting with. That's cool. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, they've each got three artwork for different bands of values. Hmm.
All right, so a block on my 6. So luckily I played that, and a 3, which is not great.
Yeah, could
5
maybe go
and
with the
3.
block.
And 6
Ooh,
and
there
4,
we go.
if that's what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for me, does the swap help me? Yeah,
It sure
I
does.
could get a 7-6. That's what I'm looking for there.
It's
So
nice. It's really nice.
I'm
It's a good.
definitely going to play that power. So
Mm-hmm.
one of my powers goes away. Did I do a swap and we forgot to take it away from me?
No, no, we looked at it, but we decided not to because it
Okay.
didn't actually help us.
All
I'm
right,
just going to
cool.
read it a little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to do the swap, which will put my 7 match to the 6 here. And then I'm going to
Yeah.
do 7 damage and take 0 in return.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where you make your money right there.
Cool.
What's
And
he
then
down to? He's pretty close to death, right? 8?
I-
Okay.
just an 8. So I'm going to do 6 and take 1. I'm going to reach up here to the other guy, get kind of spread it around a little bit.
Sounds good.
Just take 1 myself, which is not bad at all.
So this, you really kind of build this as dangerous here, Pete, but we're just stomping these guys currently, which, of course, this is going to be the round where we get crushed. Just get ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
We've
right.
had some pretty high cards the last couple rounds. Oh, that's that same 7. Yeah, so here's a 3 and a 4. Yep.
Okay. And then, what am I doing here? Okay, yeah, I got to drop. My brain just stopped working for a second there. All right.
It's fine.
I'm going to do an 8 and a 5.
Okay.
So I might kill him, which would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll go ahead. I'm actually counterintuitively, maybe I'm going to play the 4 and the 3 and keep my 7 out. Part of my reasoning there, James, is that either one of those has to get played with the 7, and I'm not feeling real strong about the 4. I feel like I would draw a monster hit onto myself, so I'm just going to play both and then at least be able to choose between them.
Yeah, and come back when you're stronger with
Yeah.
something to pair with the 7.
Yep.
All right. Look at that. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're definitely going to use a power card out of that and get
Oh yeah,
get
sure.
get a kill.
Get the kill out of it. It's worth doing. You'll be recycling your deck here pretty soon too, I
Yeah.
think.
All right, so I'm going to use a power card.
Mm-hmm.
Discard that one. And I'll throw that in my discard pile. I'm going to swap again, and it's going to be an 8, which is going to kill him.
Yeah. Yep.
And so...
And you would take any return damage because you've done a round where you kill them. So let's just do that. I'm going to actually burn my last power card too, James.
Okay, cool. So you want to see the next one?
Yeah, let's see what the next one is. 2. Okay. Well, I'm definitely not going to take 6 damage. So I'm going to put that down on top of the 3. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this chance. I'm getting hit anyway, so I'm just gonna dish off that 2 that I uncovered by doing this, and then use it to kind of optimize, improve slightly how much return damage I'm doing at least. So I'll drop him down 2 more,
and then you take 4.
Take 4, yeah.
All right, cool. So not awful.
Yeah, not too bad. We're doing fine. And we could strike the Spectral Knight from the arena of combat here, get his XP over to our loot, and we're just both facing this Dark Wolf. If we can kill one of them, we get the upper hand, which would be good. Meaning they just play 1 card after that. So here we are. We take a 7 and 6 is great. What do you got there, James?
I got a 3 and a 4, so I have hit my the crappy.
This is the bottom of your deck.
Crappy part of my deck, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna do the 7 and the 6, or 6 and the 4?
Yes. I'll go 7, 6. Just kind of maximize in this case.
Yeah, let's go get them. All right, let's see what they do. Oh, this one goes here. Sorry, look at that. That's a hit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Might get a block of power card. So next round you're going to play 1. Look at that, a block. Yes, that's exactly what we wanted to have happen. So you were kind of in your low cards, but it panned out for you.
And then look what you got. You got the 7-6.
Like a 3rd time this game.
Yeah, seriously, that's wild.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So
that's rad. So.
Okay, so next round we're gonna play one of us. Who is it? It's not both of us, is it? Is it just one of us with a knowing gaze?
Just you. Yeah, just you. You're the one that drew it. It's just.
Oh,
you.
Got it. Okay, got it. All right.
So look what's happening here. So we got the same condition where if we add our power together, we can a 7 and a 3 can knock out this one that's sitting at 10.
Perfect. So no return damage for one of us.
We'll let you take it because you can just soak it with your armor.
Beautiful.
So we both, that's how it starts to pan out. So as you go to the next level down, James, the monsters kind of take it up another level in difficulty, and the features, frankly, get more deadly too.
Okay.
So this little accumulation of power that we're starting to see over a couple new items, you need that. You need that as you progress.
Yeah. I like that because essentially, it's like any good game makes you feel a lot of times like you're weak. Like you want that progression curve to be rewarding each time, right? So.
Yep, and not too fast is important. The other thing that's maybe not obvious is when we started the game at the top, at the first level, first ecology, we just have our basic starting abilities, and that's part of that is to kind of introduce us into the game as new players with less to think about as we're playing. But on the next level down, we're each going to hopefully have been buying another ability. Maybe each of us has an item, and that works. So our play state has more variables that we can draw on to contend with stuff that's more difficult. So
yeah, and I think it's important that that's pointed out, to be honest with you, because I think on first glance, if somebody comes and says, okay, show me the game, and you're on the first ecology, they say, oh, well, there's a little bit of choice here that I have. There's a little bit of thinking that I have to do on a turn-by-turn basis. And people have seen in this playthrough, like, there's been a lot of times where we've used powers to get the upper hand in our combat already. But I think some people might respond with, like, oh, well, just whatever flips is what I'm playing, and I'm very much at the mercy of kind of the deck draws. But once you start adding additional capabilities to use during power cards or items that you have, your possibility space increases as you go, which I think is really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I'm only going to play 1 card this round.
Yeah, you'll still draw 3, and you can choose from all 3 of those which one card you're going to play. But
So they're your 2, and then you have to shuffle. So these are going to be your 2.
okay, so those are out.
Yep. Kind of a bummer, but
Oh, don't forget to. Oh, you grabbed them on your side. I'm like, grab these fictitious electronic power cards.
oh yeah. Yep. So now you might draw them now, which is nice. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I draw one.
Okay.
So I have to. Yeah. So that 4 that you just threw out there, I won't. That's not an option to me. I
Right.
can only play. Actually, there's only one. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I've got to play those 2.
All right. So
So
now
he.
I have 2 cards, and then I need to reshuffle. So I have to play one of these 2 because he cursed me. He used his stare
Yeah,
on
that's
me.
right. That's right.
So I'll play the 5,
Okay.
and then I will shuffle up and get my second card here.
Mm-hmm.
And that will just go into my hand, and I don't play it this round.
Mm-hmm.
And then since he's only 1 left, he only plays 1 card now.
Correct.
So there's that, which is bad.
Uh-huh.
And there's that, which is a 3 there.
Cool. And so in a case like this, we haven't seen it yet, where I've got 2 cards and there's 1 monster card, the hero gets to decide which side they slide that over to. If it was the other way around, and the monster was playing 2 cards and the hero was just playing 1, that happens sometimes, then you've got to slide the hero card over to the highest monster card.
All right, so I mean, I'm just gonna have to eat it. So I'm gonna take 6 and do 1 back, but it turns into 4 for me.
Correct. So I'll just track the health here for us.
Thank you. It's a bummer.
Similar position there, and I'm going to be doing 4 and taking 1, which is not bad.
Yeah, so he's hopefully dead next turn.
Yeah, should ought to be. All right, cool.
All right, so I'm gonna draw up to 3. These go in. Okay.
Nice.
And
all
then
right.
I'm sitting on an 8. So I feel like if I just, he only has 1 card.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I can play an 8 and a 3, and I have him dominated, right?
Oh, yeah. Play that 8 and your lowest card you've got, and
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the 3 and the 4 and just get rid of those lower cards. Keep the 5 for next round.
Okay, and then he just does 1
Mm-hmm.
and 1, and he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Cool. And no return damage issues because we just took them out directly.
Awesome. All right, 2 more monsters in the bag, baby.
All right, well, you're all kitted out, so if it's okay with you, James, I think I'll draw from this chest.
Never. We're going 3. I'm going 3 gear. No.
My stream.
Yeah. So we do kind of talk about that a lot, where it's like, well, I'm in control of the cards over here. You know,
right.
What are you going to do about it, Pete? I'm just going to draw my stuff. All right, so here we go. So you know what's kind of fun sometimes also is, like, I'm going to actually, so you feel a little bit of ownership. Do you want the right one or the left one?
Oh, cool. I like that. That's awesome. I'll take the one on the right.
Okay. Otherwise, it kind of feels like a little bit passive, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so a silver saber.
Ooh, dude, this is like one of the best things you can draw.
Okay. So let me zoom in for folks to be able to read it. The entire weapon glimmers in the light. A pair of cupped hands have been worked into the hilt. Add a 5 and an 8, and you replace 2 action cards. And then it has a passive ability called Confuse Enemies. While encountering non-singular monster types, you take half damage round down. So that would have been fantastic in the battle we were just in. But adding the 5 and the 8 is awesome, right? So, all right, let's do this.
While you're doing that, that one's also tagged with the descriptor magic.
Yep.
Which you don't have to go run and look up or think about. Certain cards will come up in your explorations that'll trigger that, and it'll tell you. So.
Yeah, I think I've run into a monster that can. His power was only to be damaged by magic items on that round or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, so this 5 and 8 are going to go into your deck, and this is what kind of turns into a little bit of the deck building mechanism. And then, do they go into your discard, or does this trigger a shuffle?
It triggers a shuffle, so you go ahead and take up my whole deck,
Sweet.
and you can look through it.
Including the one card that's in your hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whole thing.
Got
Whole
it.
thing. We'll remake the entire deck as a
Sweet.
result of it.
All right, and then what are you looking to get out of there?
Probably the threes
Okay.
in this case for what we're playing right now.
2 threes. All right, cool. And that's interesting because I think it's a little bit counterintuitive, and this is something that I discovered in a playthrough as well, is that the twos sometimes have a really important function, and the reason is because the twos can fire back a ton of return damage. Let's say you're fighting a monster and they're going to do 6 damage to you or something. You can drop 4. You can drop 4 return damage on them, and Ava's power ability actually plays nicely into that, where she can do the sneak, and let's say she does a sneak and flips over a 2. She can use that to essentially, it's almost like a backstab thematically, maybe, where somebody does 8 to you, but you do 6 back to them, essentially.
Yeah, nearly as much.
Yeah, which is really nice. Okay, so your deck is rebuilt, and when we get into our next combat, you'll draw up to 3. Is that right?
Yep, yeah, okay. Exactly.
Sweet. All right, so we're going to go get that Stair Guardian.
We are.
Let's do it.
Let's hit the campfire. Let's not forget to do that.
Geez, seriously. Okay, so I would get 15 more health, so I'm actually back to max.
Topped up again. And I do as well. I get 13 back, so I'll top up at 26 as my max.
All right, so this is about as good as we can get, other than not having any power cards, but...
Yeah. No, it's great.
Is what it is. And, all right, so the way the Stair Guardian works is we would just move over to the stairs, and there are 3 unique Stair Guardians per ecology. Or is it always 3 on each ecology?
There's 3 at this ecology, and the next level down has 3.
Okay.
The third ecology, the bottommost, is the last one. And the way that one works is that the big final entity has 3 parts to him. And each part has 3 cards you could draw. So there's 27 possible combinations for the final guy.
Okay. So I have played 2 of these. So I am going to... I'm just going to go for the third one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This one's gross, dude. Right, so this is one I haven't played, and this is the Seething Mound of Rats.
Focus on that. There's something neat about this thing. I think it's actually in a way the most adorable mound of rats that you probably could find.
Yeah, they are. They're kind of just all like little squishy buddies laying on top of each other there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
she's actually So this is the sketch for it. She's actually going to make it a little more anthropomorphic, like arms coming out of it, this kind of thing.
Oh, nice. I like that idea. Okay.
Yeah.
So Seething Mound of Rats, they're medium difficulty. It has 34 health because there's 2 of us. And then head and limb-like... Oh, sorry, I lost zoom, or I lost focus there. Head and limb-like forms periodically surge to the surface. Gross. All right, so the power is a chittering surge. Its speed surprises you. On the next round, play 1 extra action card behind each action card played, and keep the... higher value card. Oh, gross. So essentially it gets to do a play 2, choose 1 on each of their action cards. All right. So let's go. Let's get this one.
Yeah.
You get 3 cards. Oh, look at that. That's a good way to start.
Nice. And we're going to be doing the medium monster deck. I don't know if you said that already.
Oh, that's right. It's good that you reminded me because I would have forgotten. All right, I just drew one of my power cards, so I got one back.
Nice. Good. I can use one too, but
okay. So let's do an opening salvo here. I'm going to do a 7 and a 6.
I'll do the same there, James. Let's just hit it.
Let's see what happens on these medium cards now.
Basically 1 increment higher. So there's a 7. I like seeing it paired against your 7. That's the best way to see one. Look at that, a 7-6.
7-6. Gosh, you gotta get in your car and you gotta drive to Las Vegas. You gotta get there tonight.
Right?
All
It
right.
is just nailing it tonight.
So that's good. I'll take that 7 and block it, and then I'm not going to use the block though. I'm going to use the 6 and the 3, which would do 6 damage to him. I would have 3 return damage, but I have the armor, so I only take 1 return damage.
That's very nice.
Yes. I will.
And I'll be doing the 7 and 6, obviously.
Nice.
Getting down to 21, and I just take 1. Cool. It's great.
We got like a beefcake team right here. We're gonna dominate this guy. I feel like we're kitted up good. We have all our health. Yeah, I think we're in a good position.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, power card for you.
Power card.
Get one of those back.
Nice. See, so when you draw one, we save it out, store it at the top of the hero mat like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then what am I doing? Okay, there we go. 5, 4, 4. Oh man, I'm gonna go 7 and 6 again.
Nice. That's great. Yeah. We already saw a 7 and a 6 from it, so that's good. I'll go with the. I think I'll do a 5-4. I think I'll do a 5-4. I was tempted to go 4-4, but this will give a little bit of variety out there. See what happens with that.
Yeah. Question from chat. Yeah, lock feature. So he saw Pete when you were in here moving the tokens. He noticed that you moved the tracker by accident. So a feature that's going to be in there is that you can lock individual pieces. Right now you can lock boards so they can't be dragged around.
Oh, okay.
But like this one, if you make a mistake, you can drag it, and that's irritating when it happens. So yeah, it's a feature to add a lock. It just hasn't happened yet, Dave. I promise you. I swear it to you tonight that it's going to happen, but it just hasn't happened yet. Okay, so we got the 7 and 6 and the 5 and the 4.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Will you look at that?
Oh, interesting.
Double block on the high cards.
Mm-hmm. He's coming at you.
Okay. All right. So
a
that
block
was perfect.
And
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Okay. So what's my block action actually? Oh, I can hear. I can heal 1 damage, but I'm full, aren't I? Oh no, I've taken 1 damage, so I can heal 1.
You could, or you could actually.
I could take it for you.
Since I'm dropping away from you, you could take it for me, and your armor could be used to soak it, so you wouldn't actually even have to see it. So
yeah, no, that's killer.
You're cool with that.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
all right, so you won't take the damage. You're going to put 4 on him, and
ordinarily I take 1 back, but we're going to assign it to you. You soak it with your armor.
Perfect.
And that's it. So things are looking good here.
All right, let's see what you got. That's what I like to see. Look at
There's that 8. Yeah.
8 and 7.
Okay. Well, we'll stay with the high cards.
All right, so I just pulled my 2nd power. So that's going to go back up here.
Nice. Good.
And all right. So I've got an 8. I mean, how much health does he have left? 17. All right. So I'm going to go 8
17,
and 5.
yeah. That's good. That's good.
And then
his deck only goes up to 7. We've seen a couple of them.
All right, you're going to go 8 and 7. Are you going to go 8 and 7?
Yeah, please.
All right. All right, let's do it. Let's see. Maybe we'll get lucky and we take him down here.
Oh, other deck there, James.
Oh, yep. We should go to the replay. Hopefully, I haven't been doing that at all.
No, you haven't.
All right.
Yeah, at least I didn't know.
I feel bad if I had done that wrong. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to use my power there. I'm going to use the power there to do 8 damage. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cool.
All right. So I'm going to use a power card. Throw that away. And that's going to go into my discard pile, and that will swap the 8 and the 5, and I will do 8 damage and take 0 back.
Yeah.
then
I'll hit it for the 8 and only take 3 back.
Yep. And man, he's down to what? 2 or 1?
1 hit point
Nice.
left, yeah. I'll take 3. Yeah, we did dominate this guy.
Okay, so let's see. I gotta draw up.
It's a little bit unusual to have been able to hit both chests, and we got 2 legendary locations, which helped. And they were one of them was a item. Yeah, so we're fairly robustly reinforced at this point.
Yeah, I've never been this strong at the end of the fight with the Stair Guardian in my playthrough so far.
Yeah, there's some variety there with how it shakes out, right, James?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
All right, so I have kind of a crummy hand. So I'm going to do a 3 and a 4. So this might be the round where he does a little bit of damage to us.
Yeah, he's only got 1 left, so as long as we can avoid a monster, I'll go ahead and 5 and 6 and just.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna kill him with return damage for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, let's see. Well, that's enough to do it.
Oh shoot! That he did the one thing that would.
It's on the next. It's on the next round though. So it does,
is it really?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Perfect. Too late, dude.
Yeah, you started chittering 1 second too late. So, all right. So the way
we've got a dilemma here. I mean, we can kill him with return damage. So
yeah,
it's kind of the obvious thing.
So yeah, or would you burn a power to try to see if you could get a direct damage kill?
I could. I'm trying to remember after we beat this guy, I can't remember in all honesty whether we basically, after we defeat a Stair Guardian, we clear the pathway to the next level down, and that's when leveling up occurs. So we'll go and buy abilities. We do a healing. We top back up to our new health level. We go from level 1 to 2. I can't remember if we save out our power cards.
Oh, but if we top up on health, who cares? Just let him hit me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Save them out.
All right, cool. So I would take the 6 and do 2 damage return, and he would die.
Yeah. So you would really take 4.
Did you just see? I just reached my left hand out to try to move the tokens. But the tokens are virtual. Like that. I swear that stuff happens where, like, in my brain, I've been looking at the screen, right, and in my brain, they're over there, and I reach to move them, but it's like they're not there. Anyway,
that speaks good of your system, I think.
Yeah, hopefully. Or just my ability to lose track of reality when I'm in a digital system. Okay, so he would die as a result of that return damage.
Yeah, and we could resolve as heroes. We can choose to resolve in any order, so we would just let that occur before I even face anything on my side.
Yeah, so because I would take 4 damage instead of 6 because of my armor, but we're going to top off anyway. So this guy would go to the trash heap, and then we would be walking into the level up with 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 experience.
That's good. So each ability costs 6. So that would take, we always want to buy an ability per, you can only get 1 per level up.
Okay.
And if you can afford it, you want each of us to be able to do that. So we would the best way we could spend at least 12 of that is on an ability apiece. So we'll go through that process here in a second. So that would leave us with what, 4? We've got 16 total.
Yep.
So the other 4, what we would want to do, we start the game with 3 keys. We've already burned 2 of them, and I know there's a lot of locked doors in the next level down. So let's go ahead and take that other 4 and buy 2 more keys. So we're back up to 3.
Sweet. And
so we kind of zero everything out, but we top up our keys, so to speak, and we get to pick an ability.
So it is pick. So it's not a random draw. So we would get to look.
It is a random draw, but it's a modified random. So we'll draw 2.
Okay.
And we can kind of look at what each of us have to see if there's some synergies there, and we'll pick to keep 1 from those 2.
Okay, cool.
And if you're playing the kind of legacy version, so to speak, and you were going to do successive levels, we would put back in the box the other one we saw, and it it wouldn't be available to us for the rest.
Oh,
of
interesting. That's kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you picked risky. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce this word because I think I've only ever read it in my life. Do you have
I say riposte.
Riposte. That's what I don't know if it would be riposte or riposte, but do you have words like that where like
yes.
You
like
read them and you're like, yeah, it's like, I know the word, I know what it means, I know how to use it, but I've never been gutsy enough to actually say it out loud.
And that's a good example of one too, like where I'll be playing Scrabble with my wife and she's like, what is that word? And we determined that I only know it from reading way too many fantasy books.
Yeah, that is exactly right. It's like a name for like a horse's armor or something, you know?
Yeah, right.
But I read a comment from an author at some point that said, if you hear somebody use a word correctly but mispronounce it, it's a badge of honor because that means that they learned it from reading.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what I like to, that's what I like to think is okay, if I mess one of these up in public, it's okay, you know?
Right.
So if that ever happens to you and you feel like an idiot, you can use that. Okay. So risky riposte. It's a active ability that you have to use a power card for. And if combat pair difference is less than 5, ignore return damage. So that's really nice. So you could have a big hit that one of those ones where you get like an 8 and he has a 4 or something, and then just use your power card and ignore 4 damage, which I feel like that's a good exchange rate for a power card.
It is, yeah.
And then the other one is pick lock, which is passive, and you can attempt to open any door or chest once without a key. Draw 2 action cards. If combined value is greater than 9, you were successful. So that's kind of nice.
It is. And there's another aspect to how that can be used. You can cycle your deck a little bit sometimes with that too. So it's all these are of course just a little bit on the situational side. You're gonna you don't have that many power cards to use. They're sort of their actual ability application is a little bit finite, but anyway, some interesting choices there. I'd probably go with a risky riposte, but we'll see what you've got.
Yeah, that seems to make sense to me as well. Now it mentioned in that pick lock, picking chests.
Oh yeah. So that's a carryover. I got to fix the text in that card.
Oh, okay.
It used to be that the game was that you had to use keys to open chests too. So I've winnowed that out of it, just made it doors so that keys, just mainly so you just have less keys in the mix, just a lower number. It's in a few ways this game is kind of streamlined down to have fewer of certain things and as a helpful sort of design choice. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So then here's the 2 that I chose for myself. First is combat awareness. And it's an active power card ability that is ignore 1 monster action card this round and freely reposition yours, which seems nice. That I could create a very beneficial combat scenario for myself. And then everywhere at once may activate with a power card from any hero, which is interesting.
Yep. It's a good example. We're throwing that out there earlier that there's some that do that.
Yeah, and then that swaps the value of one of your action cards with one of your allies. So that creates some interesting possibilities as well.
Especially given what items you've got right now, because you've got an amazing ability to take damage and just kind of shrug it off. So that would be a cool one to play forward with.
Yeah, because essentially I could grab a low value card from you, send you a high value card, eat the damage, and let you blast them with my 8 or 7 or whatever. So that
is that the one where either one of us could is that the one where either one of us could power it?
Yes. Yep.
So we get that kind of opens up more uses of it to be.
Yeah, we essentially have 4 opportunities to use it. Yeah, exactly. So cool. No, that's cool. So yeah, I think I would choose everywhere at once because I don't know, I like always to choose the cards that to me seem to increase the number of instances where I feel like I'd be able to use them is largest. I don't like very narrow, powerful cards. I like kind of large scale generalist cards. So that's probably what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the riposte would be best for you as well going forward. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I
For
think
sure.
I mean, I haven't played through the second. I'm going to grab the cavern cards real quick so I can show them.
Yeah.
I haven't played through the second ecology yet, but yeah, that seems like that would be a good combo. And this is absolutely the best I've been going through the first ecology. All right, so here's what the cavern card backs look like. They're kind of a purplish cavern design. And how much of this is final? Are the card backs and stuff final?
Card backs are, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Anything that's colored, basically, except for the map tiles. Map tiles I've drawn, they're going to get redrawn by Marion. So the hero portraits. So that's just like, a sketch version, basically. Yep. The caverns are still.
Cool. And then there's like water spaces and boats in here too?
Yeah, okay, so that remember we talked about how there's unique things in each tile set. The caverns have a couple warp portal tiles, and they behave like the similar to the secret tunnels that we just saw, but there's only literally 2 of them. And then the water components are all about building towards one of the game's most powerful legendary locations. So it's one of the most challenging, but the most rewarding as well. So
cool. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So that was a good playthrough. How'd you like playing it on Vorpal?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, it worked really well. I'm kind of with you. Like you went to grab the electronic tiles. Like I was kind of like, I felt like we were at the table together. Honestly, like I didn't think about that.
I'm putting the check in the mail here, Pete. I'll drop it in the mail once we're done. Yeah, I think for us, a lot of it is the ritual, right? So when you play like a board game, just seeing the pieces kind of moving around, and honestly, them being messy down here, for example, like that sort of stuff. It gets your brain in the right place, I think. So it kind of feels like you're at the table. Whereas I've found in some of the more digital adaptation stuff, for whatever reason, because it's like too perfect, it maybe doesn't click as well for me, I guess. But it's not. Everybody's a little bit different.
I think that argument totally holds water for me. Like I've done a lot of the Tabletopia in particular, and I see that right away. When you get the kind of the 3D dice rolling, I've always liked better than where it's just a 2D dice thing.
Yep.
And that's kind of a step toward what you're talking about. But having one table set up with the physical components, and I'm seeing your hand on there.
Right.
I'm seeing a human motion, human pieces of hands out there, and then having the built-in video feed is huge too. That right there, I think, is the single biggest additive component to what you've got going on.
Yeah, I mean, and really our goal is, right, just like you can call anybody, and if they have a computer that connects to the internet, they can do it. It's because it's in a browser, right? So you don't have to download or install stuff, all those sort of things.
Yeah, I mean, webcams have certainly worked well over the years and stuff, but it's audio and webcams. It's always an issue. There's always an issue with somebody on the feed. So
cool. So for folks who are still hanging out, check out the Forgotten Depths campaign, and start following Pete via the Void Knight channels so you can be notified of the relaunch. This is one that I have actually really enjoyed my time with, Pete. So kudos to you.
Thanks, Jim.
And keep us in the loop as to what your plans are.
Definitely. Yeah.
And if you are ever interested in messing around anymore on here, just give me a shout. If there's stuff you want to test or other things you want to do in the future, we'd definitely be open to it. So
awesome. Yeah, thanks, James. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and then any final thoughts or other stuff you want to plug or anything, or you just
No, it's just, definitely we'll be relaunching unless something radical happens with the funding. We're sort of breaking 50%-ish soon. Probably won't go all the way. And so we're going to let it run its course and just see what happens. Some interesting things have been happening community wise, socially out of this. Different people in the last couple of days have been picking up, mentioning that they want to feature it in this and that way, or
Cool.
are otherwise interested. So it'll run through till next Sunday, the 17th. But from there, we'll look at a relaunch, maybe April, maybe May, see how things go. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And I'll
wish you nothing but the best luck with this campaign, and then with future campaigns as well.
And what's going on with the Vorpal board relaunch?
It's happening. It's
Okay.
we don't have a date. We don't have a date yet. We kind of have a time frame. As soon as we know as a team, once we've decided kind of the date we're targeting, we'll let everybody know.
Okay.
The specificity with which we're speaking about it right now is early 2020.
Okay.
On the and Dave's in the chat saying that we're teasing him every stream by not giving him a date. Early 2020, with kind of a real focus on early, because we're really ready to pull the trigger on a lot of the production components of this. Because there's kind of an arm that mounts the camera, and then there's a box for doing the card scanning and stuff. So so we're kind of ready to roll on that stuff. So we're looking to move pretty quick. We've spent the last 6 or 8 months really generating a lot of video content and stuff, and showing people how it works. Where we didn't have that the first time, there's probably some analogs with your experience coming to kind of Kickstarter the first time, where you realize like, oh man, I should have had all this other stuff done or ready or whatever. But you don't know it until you go through it. So. So soon. I wish I could give you more than that, but we will know soon when exactly soon is. So I promise, Dave, it'll be soon. But yeah, so I appreciate you coming on. I'll be watching what you guys do in the future. I really enjoy this, so I'm very interested in both this project and other projects that you got cooking. And take care, and everybody who hung out for the stream, thanks so much, and everybody have a good night.
All right. See you, James.
Bye.